Hey, so you say you're an Xbox fan. You say you also enjoy free stuff from Microsoft. Well, you're going to want to stick around because this video is about some free stuff that they have going on right now. And I always love to do videos when they do this stuff because I feel like, not enough people kind of take advantage of it and things like that. Microsoft has a pretty good idea of giving fans, some free swag and things like that. Sometimes it's free games, sometimes it's, something that, other people maybe wouldn't want to play. But I always think that if you're a console gamer, we have enough bills, we have a lot of stuff going on in our lives. So of course we like getting, free stuff, and that's exactly kind of the point that I'm trying to make right now is that Microsoft realistically, they're doing a pretty good job with some of this stuff. So that's exactly what I'm kind of talking about when it comes down to this stuff. You basically need to kind of pay attention and keep your head on a swivel, so to speak, because sometimes this stuff can come fast and you need to get in there and redeem the stuff fast. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It certainly helps the channel out. I do daily gaming content, so if you guys are looking for, someone that does fun yet informative game discussions, you found them. That's me. I try to be as as informative as possible. I love giving my opinion. Sometimes I can be over the top. I get that, but at the end of the day, nothing but love. Anyway, when it comes down to it, I feel like Microsoft does this a lot, and usually when they do big sales. So anyway, I was kind of surprised. I got a $5 gift card sent to my gamertag, and this happens quite often. And like I said, usually it's $5 or $10, and some of this is popping up on like the Reddit and stuff like that, where people are getting this as well. And to me anyway, it makes sense because they're trying to get out there and and make sure that people have things to kind of game and play, and I love that about it. To me, it just makes a lot of sense that they're able to kind of go out there and offer these, and that way people will just kind of reinvest that into into what's going on with the store and ecosystem and things like that. And so again, that's sort of what I'm kind of looking at here and saying, okay, that's really nice to see that that's happening. And that's exactly what Microsoft is doing right now, and I love to see it. It's something that I feel like everybody can kind of get next to, and that's exactly why I'd like to do these videos when they come up. So free $5 voucher or whatever sent to my email. Again, you have to, when you sign up to be part of Xbox or whatever, you have to make sure to go out there and have this situation where you can go, okay, click to accept offers and things like that from Microsoft, and that's the way you kind of do it, because if you don't do that way, it's just one of those situations where you're not going to get offered anything. And so that's the unfortunate thing, is you have to be able to kind of go out there and do that. And for me anyway, I love to get the free stuff. Even if it's something that I'm not necessarily going to use, it's still cool to go out there and get like the free stuff or whatever the case may be. And I like doing these videos because a lot of people go up and they thank me. They're like, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that this stuff was free or whatever the case may be. And so that's kind of a cool thing to be able to help people out and things like that at the end of the day. So yeah, awesome to see that. And if you didn't know, yeah, it's like there's always perpetually free stuff. It's always cool to get like the free little deal where you can get free gift cards or whatever, and you can spend that on whatever you want on their store or whatever. And it's just, to me anyway, it just sounds like a really cool deal to be able to do that. And I always like to kind of point out that if you have good internet, you could take advantage of what they kind of use almost on a weekly basis. They do some kind of like limited free play days on games, and you can like fully play through these entire games over a weekend if you want to. So I always thought that was kind of cool that they did that. In addition to that, I always like to kind of mention the perpetually free games that they give away. They're 360 games, but I know a lot of people don't really know much about them or realize this. So if you have an Xbox One or if you have an Xbox Series X or S, Crackdown 2, and 2 Human are all completely free on the Xbox itself. So you can like even do it on, you can like get these for free on the computer. Like go to the Xbox.com, click get because it's free, and then boom, you can download it, go to your library, and then download it if you want to play it or whatever. I just like having these in my library. I've beaten these games a little bit, multiple times to say the least, but it was still cool to have to your library. And I know not everybody has a library like as big as mine or whatever, but it's always just good to have some games that you own. And to me, I think that's a pretty cool deal. I love it when Microsoft does this stuff, and then I'll use the money that they sent with this to kind of go out and grab something else, maybe another game or whatever. And I think that'll be pretty darn cool to go out and do that. So again, that's something that kind of like I love talking about. It's like very easy to kind of go out there and talk about it. Speaking of the free play days, like this is really cool. So Microsoft has revealed the latest batch of free play games. Xbox Game Pass subscribers now have 4 extra games that you can check out for free up until June 22nd. So you've got multiple days to go out and play these games. Dead by Daylight, Headbangers Rhythm Royale, Trailmakers, Echo of Ada. So some interesting selection of free Xbox games on offer to play this weekend. If you're an Ultimate or Standard member, you may want to skip over Dead by Daylight and Trailmakers as they're included with your subscription already. So yeah, nice cool thing there. And I'll link this in there so you guys can check it out. And see if it's maybe something you guys are interested in, because like I said, it's always fun to kind of go about and have some free stuff to play. And Microsoft is always pretty good about making sure that we have a lot of cool stuff, and that's what I said. As an Xbox gamer, things might not be perfect, but at least we have a good amount of these things to kind of look into and say, okay, well, at least we have this, and we can kind of look to that as something we can play or whatever the case may be. So yeah, like I said, bravo for Microsoft for making sure we get like the free stuff or whatever. And it's really cool of them to go out and make sure that we have a lot of this stuff to play. Like I said, it's super interesting to me that they're able to do this and kind of offer something free for pretty much everyone. And as a gamer, like I said, so I got free games pretty much that they're always doing. Last month they gave away, or it might have been this month, that Tell Me Why game was free. I think it's free for the entire month. Might have been last month. But anyway, yeah, so the perpetually free games of Crackdown 2, and 2 Human, as well as the ability to kind of get stuff through vouchers and things like that whenever they do it. Like I said, sometimes I get $10 from them just randomly at random time. I mean, maybe it's because I spend so much on their store to begin with. I own over 1,000 games, and I have like a ton of games installed on there, so it's kind of crazy to think about. Maybe they're just like, hey, let's do this guy a favor so he keeps spending. Because honestly, I will admit that I kind of haven't spent nearly as much as I had in the past once they started putting their stuff on like PlayStation and things like that, because I'm just not 100% sure on what they're going to be able to offer in terms of backwards compatibility or being able to keep my library. And that's something that I worry about tremendously, because like I said, I have like 1,500 games installed. I think overall almost 1,900 games digitally I own on my Series X. Now that's current gen, last gen, Xbox 360 and Xbox digitally, but I also have hundreds and hundreds more physically, which I doubt that they continue to support those, so I'm just kind of screwed, and better hope that they continue to support the console that I play on. But yeah, this is nice to see. If you guys want some of this free stuff, it's always out there to get it. I'm happy to kind of do videos about it. You guys seem to enjoy it, and that's always a plus. at the end of the day. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Go download this stuff, go get it. It won't hurt anything. It's not like these are huge files or anything. At the very least, you can put it in your library so you can download it later. Best thing is, if you have an external drive, even, you can save and play these games on that too. You don't have to take up internal space. So let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.